Good evening, Free Enterprise, and welcome to another night of Pink Puff League. We have Kyrios and Venicus here on the stream. They are our top two Pink Puffs from the second season. I am Bad Karma. I'm joined in the booth with Possum Morpheus. We've got Outskip424 doing the restreaming. Tybalt pushing the button so Possum doesn't eat them. Possum, how you feeling tonight?
I am feeling great, Bad Karma. Haven't been on comms in a while and figured I love the Pink Puff so much. This is my favorite league. I wish that this would have been around when I started playing Free Enterprise, and I am so excited to see our next crop of Pink Puffs really go into the next tournament and start dominating, just like the last crop did. So the featured runners tonight, Kyrios and Venicus, are the number one and number two contenders, if you will, for the Pink Puff League. They have been phenomenal all season long, and I'm super excited to get to call this race with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you'll notice here, we are actually running the group flag stages for the Adamant Cup. That'll be starting here on March 5th. So these runners are getting an early look at this to showcase the flag set for us, and we'll see how they do. I know I've been practicing. I believe a lot of other members of the community have. So these flags are really fun and really high completion percent.
Yeah, that high completion percent, always a fun time. That was kind of the design behind the flag set, from my understanding, is that it wanted to be a little more execution heavy, pressing your advantage throughout the entirety of a seed rather than just kind of stumbling across a potential go mode and counterfeiting some what could be considered better play. So I'm very curious to see how Curios and Venicus leverage what they are going to find, especially with T Wildish being on and Adamance being on for the first time in a tournament history that I'm aware of. So that's going to be a very interesting thing to see. Who can find those Adamants, who can leverage that power and come out ahead.
Yeah, so if you are new to the stream, new to checking out Free Enterprise, these are the people to who've been showcasing the new runners. So this should be a really great one to watch and see how they can handle, because these group flags are really accessible, really good for people just starting out.
Yeah, definitely really nice to be able to just kind of walk around and find really good loot all over the place. And speaking of finding some really good things, I don't hate a Palom and a Cane start, especially when a Zeus Gauntlet is the starting item. That is an extra 10 strength right away. Don't have to really worry about Evil Wall anywhere gross because, hey, that's the starting boss. Of note, there are no boss hunts on this flag set. There is a free key item, so no demist hunt. You may still have to fight demist at a required objective, but don't have to hunt down the demist.
Yeah, K main, K moon, K summon is all on all objectives. We have 7 out of 7 required to get that crystal. And like you said, that Kane with the Zeus Gauntlet is a really big pickup, as we see Curios heading straight to Eblin Castle to get some of that loot, and Venicus is doing some shopping.
Yeah, this is a check for some goods for Venicus, looking for, we see vampires there, but maybe trying to find life potions and things like that. Might be just peeking the character here to see who's there, what maybe Venicus is going to be looting for. Sid kind of functions a little less off loot and more off just the fact that he's a beast early on. But Curio showing immediately why we love our Eblin Castle on this flag set, as there's a ninja sword, another Gaia drum, and most importantly, there were Elven and Artemis bows.
Ooh, that's a big pickup. That's gonna give you that extra agility on that Palom early on. Gives him a little oomph until he gets his spells. You don't want to leave it on there so that his stuff can you know you, words are hard today, Possum.
See, we're
You don't want to lose that wisdom, so his black magic can hit his hardest.
oof. Edward with a little bit of a troll for the team here. A tier 4 Sylph summon from Bedward on T Wildish. That is a very low chance of that happening. Bit unfortunate that Venicus routed that free key item check in first and comes up a little blank, but that Sylph summon, if nothing else, for money, and selling for money is a good thing.
Yeah, and like you said, this T Wildish, we have so many chances for such good loot. We've seen, already a few decent items pulled out of Castle Evelyn. Looks like Venicus is going to be joining Curious there. Curious has found 2 trap chests, it looks like. So looking for that last one to try and finish off this loot run.
Yeah, and Eblin Castle is a thing you're going to find very commonly for runners to go check out on this flag set. It is just incredibly highly weighted for its accessible location. So with it being an overworld check with uh, no key item that gates it, you can just go there and start looting. Yes, there's 3 trap chests and can take a little time, but the loot tiering in there, where else are you going to find Artemis bows just laying around? Even on T Wildish, that's a tough sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Castle Eblin's been my first stop, most of these seeds, unless, maybe you got Tella, get some early exit out of the Watery Pass. But both runners going with the norm here, it looks like, trying to get all that, that dense T Wildish loot to just try and pull something really nice and get this Kane online. Because really that's what we're looking for is a weapon for Kane, and it just let him just start swinging with those Zeus gauntlets.
Yeah, as much as that Zeus Gauntlet would benefit Kane, he's not like Yon, where he can't just run around and say, have these hands. That's not how Kane works. Kane does need some sort of spear or sword. Even like a fire sword would be fantastic with that Zeus Gauntlet. But our runners have come up pretty blank so far. It had a coffin, a flame whip. So Eblin Castle, honestly, not that great on this one. The Artemis bow is wonderful, but doesn't really have the splashy impact that you'd expect out of Eblin.
Yeah, and that would make me want to, if I was curious, maybe head over to the free treasury here in Troya after checking and getting the bomb key item that he's about to get. But it looks like Curious is going to be doing a little shopping. See, hey, there's a curse ring too.
Yeah, Curse Ring is definitely an interesting find. See if there's enough money in the the pocketbook here. It looks like we're barely going to be able to get there. And Curios and Venicus may both have access to a Curse Ring, but Curios has one now. So a hefty investment at 35,000. I know a Curse Ring used to be a lot less for those who may just be getting back into free enterprise, but even at 35,000, still worth its weight in gold.
Yep, we're seeing, wow, Troya really stacked there. Cure 3s are hanging out there, Star Veils, Soma drops if we find that elusive Fu to, buff up his MP. That's a really nice shop there in Troya tonight.
Wait, why do we have to find food? Soma drop Kane.
Could absolutely give Kane MP.
But we do see Venicus head towards, looks like launching the hoverboat, possibly Damsian basement for some loot. There are, what is it? Here, pretty densely put together as well. So that's going to give Venicus a nice little bit of loot and some lower tier stuff. So might be able to find, like a fire sword, a slumber sword, something to get going with this Kane. But well, a mute knife will be good enough. Not great, but it'll have to do. There's a slumber sword.
There's a slumber sword.
Fantastic.
Also an earth hammer for that Sid whenever we pull him. I know that's one of my favorite weapons to pull for Sid if I've got to use him, just because he can just go and bonk some of those trap chests there in the lower Babel.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to give Sid the actually, because Sid's big struggle is the hammer gives him more strength, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but the Artemis bow is, for me, Sid's best weapon, not including Super Smith. So I would be very pro Sid with an Artemis bow.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I was just saying, just for the bonking of the trap chests, because we do have those adamant armors on, like you said, and that 4 trap chests and Babel that you can just go in one shot easily. Definitely a win there in my book.
That's fair. Oh, we do see a flame spear on Venicus' side. I did not catch where that was from, but that is fantastic. Flame spear also up to a little bit of AoE, further than Palom would get.
I think that's actually Kane's starting weapon.
Oh, well, in that case, that's a high roll. Well done, Kane.
And another Zeus Gauntlet there, as both runners picking up that first chest there in Antlion.
And that just highlights T. Wildish in a nutshell. Run around Antlion Cave, finds a Zeus Gauntlet. That's something you won't see on most other treasure settings.
And a convenient exit for when you want to leave Antlion really quickly.
Unless our runners get a hook, and then they may save that. Make a quick little
Oh,
hook
yeah.
dive.
Absolutely. That would be definitely a good thing to get that quick check-in. We've got some leg here down in Antlion.
Yeah, this will be pretty easy with those 3 blizzards and maybe an ice 1 from Palom here. I'm going to opt for just using all the blizzards. Should be able to get through this before any glares come out. So good use of J items there by Venicus, and we will see what Kyrios' approach is.
Yeah, and no counter fire 2s, just using all items, just using all spells. So, oh wow. Okay, Seed.
Well, apparently there are going to be no hook routes because Launch the Falcon is not an objective. We do see Kyrios get through, but Venicus a Magma Key, so underground access is available for our runners. So we'll see if Venicus goes up a character from Hobbs and maybe he opts to go underground, try to get a siren together, maybe cobble up some XP for this team, and kind of go.
Yeah, that would be my go right there. Would just be try and find a siren, get that Fae March freebie out of the way. Maybe trigger Sheila 1. Hey, there's that Yang we were talking about earlier, and we do have another pair of Zeus gauntlets.
Spider-Man pointing meme as Yang is hanging out with Yang up on Mount Hobbs.
Ooh, very punchy though. That Palom blinking gets hit.
Yeah, but with underground access, kind of alluding back to the point about sirens, relevant if Palom lives here. Just because the XP gains, yes, 5,000 XP is great early on. That'll be like 3 to 4 levels for Palom. But if you pop an egg and kill it, that egg gives you 30,000, and the overworld XP doesn't really matter. So we may see Venicus try to get this back, but looks like the jump came in before he could. Kyrios heading straight underground, not even bothering with the character. Venicus continuing a little bit of looting here and does find a karate key for his troubles after defeating Karate Man.
Yeah, I do like going and picking up that chest, especially with the loot that we've seen so far. It's not that far out of the way, and Mount Hobbs does have a little bit higher chance on these settings to, have some decent loot. So I like the pickup there. Karate shirt, not great, but it is a chest armor. I've gotten entire seeds with these flags and not gotten a chest armor.
Yeah, because like the things you're looking for are anything that gives stats. So Karate Gi fits that bill. It's only +3 to strength, but that's 3 more than you would have without chest armor. So not everyone can have a power shirt or an adamant armor. And oh hey, there's silk webs and sirens. That is my favorite shop.
Big shop there. I believe we have a coffin too, so could see Kyrios go and buy a couple sirens here. Buys a whole 10 stack.
Yeah, I would expect to see one of those get used immediately. This is a team that really benefits from an early siren, and more of that is on Palom than it is on Kane. But I would be expecting, as soon as the Fae March check is done here, that we will get a siren with a coffin from Kyrios.
I think I may have done it beforehand just to give a little safety in case that boss down in the Asura spot, which is objective number 5 for us, is maybe doable with something as long as we can take a hit.
Yeah, it would be worth considering because if it's also something like dolls, let's say, the dolls are not super punchy and maybe you have just enough XP to survive and get a Quake off. So I do like that line of thought as well, that maybe there's a chance that Quake could be good enough for something down there.
We do have that defense sword with Kane, though. That's going to be a really big upgrade for him.
Oh, and a bandana as well for Kyrios. So getting enough pieces together. Well, I guess everyone's going to be looking for Cecil and doing a few less trap chests than normal because, oh, hey, by the way, that is a crystal sword, y'all.
Sitting right in the Fae March freebie chest, a crystal sword just waiting for our runners. That's an Octomammoth.
Yeah, that's free later, but definitely not free now.
Now, if we had found a random moon veil somewhere, I mean, granted, it would have been a long fight, but definitely worth coming back to later.
Yeah, and also with Dr. Luge there, it's one of those things where, yes, you could defeat one side of it, even with a Moonveil, but you'd probably still be coming back or potentially be coming back for that Dr. Luge fight anyway. So it's one of those where you may just want to come back, be able to do Fae March all in one fell swoop, and just kind of proceed from there. It does look like we are going to get that Siren pop from Kyrios, and we'll see if we get a coffin use as well to very quickly end this fight.
Now, I wonder too if Kane with the defense sword and those Zeus gauntlets could jump one of these eggs. I mean, maybe, especially after this first one, I think he might be strong enough to do
I wouldn't tempt fate with that. I would just quake with Palom if there were more than one being done because I don't trust Kane. Uh, in vanilla, he's the betrayer, and in free enterprise, he is patently average. So he's going to be good enough starting out, but not great, until we really get the ball rolling on stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that Kane proceeds. But we do note there that Kyrios's Palom got to level 22. That's a big deal because that is one level shy of Quake. So level 19 is where Palom picks up Virus. Level 23 is where he picks up Quake. Really nothing else matters after that until level 52 where he learns Nuke. But that's an interesting breakpoint, and I do wonder if we may see one extra Siren from Venicus if he opts to go that route, where he will get Quake on Palom, or if he'll just continue on from there.
Yeah, it really depends on where Curious wants to route this. If he's just going to go do full defense, it's not going to be enough probably to get him to 23. But if he's just going to continue routing around and hitting the usual boss spots, maybe going to Hobbs right now or full. But that he'll get that Quake here in Overworld and just start making short work of these bosses really quickly.
Yeah, and even with Virus will clean out most early bosses. So it's not like it has a huge impact, but it can be nice if there's just some AoE stuff floating around. So we'll see what ends up happening. Again, there's no right or wrong choice here. It's just an interesting point of discussion to see would you take a second early Siren or not to get Quake on the kid. I know I would, but that's because I also have a mantra of grind early, grind often. And I will win races because of it, but I will play to what I consider, my right way to do it. And whatever the runners feel is their comfortable way to go about it, that is what I truly recommend, is you go until you are comfortable with loot and levels.
Yeah, and one thing to point out too, Venicus found those sirens, but Venicus also has, since Venicus went to Fae March, bought some coffins, so has 3 coffins that he can go ahead and just burn right here and really power up his team to just take out this overworld really quickly.
It looks like Venicus taking a second Siren here, and looks like Curios's Palom did learn Quake off of the Mount High. So there is Quake for both runners. The difference here is going to have a Yang that is going to be kicking around and quite effectively compared to what you would normally see this early in a seed from Yang.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen what Yang's starting claw was if he's got the charm claw. I do know that Venicus picked up a poison claw, which he's got equipped. So Yang's gonna be hitting pretty hard now for this overworld.
Yeah, Yang going to be doing some work, Palom going to be doing work, Kane doing work. Just really highlights the importance of that early XP. Did we see Venicus go and set up Sheila 1?
We did not. I don't believe he went down there.
Interesting.
So.
Maybe holding out for the pan. So we will see from Kyrios fairly shortly, once the Fabul defense check is set up. If, let's say, Sheila 1 is the pan, this could be a huge advantage early on for Kyrios. Otherwise, Venicus may get a little bit of an edge by holding off and trying to single dip Fabul. So always interesting for our runners, how they decide to route things. Leviathan showing up, which does percentage-based damage, which means that Palom is going to fall on Venicus' side. Takes a quick reset, and looks like Kyrios fighting a couple of guards over in Fabul.
Yeah, and I do want to correct you that, Venicus is not going to have the edge. He's going to have Sid here soon.
Oh, right. Yeah, as you see, I can't read, and now apparently I can't tell palettes apart either. Normally, I
They are the
conflate
same color.
normally, I confuse Sid and Cecil because they both start with C, but, it's all very difficult.
I do that because I love you, chat. I really do. And as I totally missed what the Fabul defense gave us. But we are going to see Sheila 1 here coming up as Venicus takes down the not so nope rope. Hey, that's a rat tail.
Well, speaking of bosses that Quake is good for, this one,
Yeah,
this is
both
the
runners.
Magus Sisters.
Yeah, both runners having Quake now, so they're going to clear the overworld at a pretty comparable pace.
Yeah, and with the pickup of the Luca key from Fabul Defense and a Rat Tail from Sheila 1, tough to say if fading or not fading Sheila 1 is going to play out positively for Venicus. But looks like he picks up a Vanilla Baron key. Somebody, Dathis, Zoe Vanillion. Who's done it? Why are we doing these things? We don't
But
need vanilla.
but it is required. That's objective number 3 to liberate Eblin Castle.
Yeah, and I would expect Venicus to head there immediately for a couple reasons. And I'm actually a little surprised at the routing from our runners, in the sense of one major thing. You have a crystal sword. I would be beelining every possible check that a
Hmm.
Cecil could exist at, and win or lose. Don't know if it's right or wrong. Well, speaking of a
There's
Cecil, there's
there's a
one up on
Cecil.
Mount Ordeals. But Dwarf Castle could have a Cecil. A Baron could have a Cecil. So I really like Venicus's play here. You have to go up Ordeals anyway if you're going to turn Cecil into a Paladin, so I totally get this from Curios. I'm just such a huge fan of, if I've got a Crystal Sword, man, I want to find a dude that can wield it.
Agreed. And Curious could be thinking that though along those lines. But once he finds that Cecily, he wants to be able to slap that crystal sword on him immediately, not have to, have that denial of having to go back and do, the ordeals check to be able to do it.
Totally makes sense. I mean, the other thing is, Ordeals is a Sphere Zero check, meaning that it is very likely going to have a key item, just
Hmm.
based on the way the randomizer fill algorithm works. That there's probably value up here regardless. So we'll be interested to see what comes out of this. But I would expect to see both runners up here at some point on Mount Ordeals.
Yep, and we're probably not going to see the Odin around the world, but we will see this evil wall start, chunking on our team. Oh, we're taking Sid down.
I mean, makes sense with this team. You have three functional party members, and then you have Sid, who's just, kind of potatoing around a little bit. And Earthhammer is great, but we have a defense sword Kane, we have a Yang with levels, and we have Palom, and they're just going to do more and do it faster. Part of Sid's biggest issue, if you're not going to equip the Artemis bow on him, is he's just slow. It's really hard to get him to take turns.
Like Tella slow.
Yes, like Tella. So for that matter, Palom is equally as slow as Sid, but he just does more. And oh hey,
Oh wow.
speaking of ordeals having value, there is the pan. That's objective 4 once Kyrios completes that.
So if Venicus heads to Ordeals after this, he could single dip Fabul, which will save a little bit of time. He'll also single dip the Sylph Cave.
Yeah, it could be potentially a minute and a half to 2 minutes of time save on Venicus's side, depending on the routing from here. If a Cecil shows up, that will immediately drive Venicus over to Ordeals, and it would just complete that route beautifully. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how this goes. Xenocat pointing out that we are a Harp in a Darkness from Go mode already, which is
That is
very
true.
quick.
Yeah, with Cave Bahamut and the Crystal Solar Altar being on the moon, we just need that Darkness Crystal. We already have the underground access to take on the Queen at the Town of Monsters. We've already seen that it's the Octomammoth. So yeah, just need that Harp and we need that Darkness Crystal. There's a Rosa though.
It's a tough one. Yeah, I think you'd be out of either Yang or Sid here. And I mean, it hurts, but I think that's the right choice from Venicus. And this is the push and pull of Max Party Size 4, is you see the best white mage show up.
Mm-hmm. Rose
But
is
your
going into March.
party, oh yeah, your party is like, man, I really wish I had a fifth character slot. Also, a crystal and Leviathan protecting everyone from being crushed today. Uh, how nice of Leviathan.
He just doesn't want us to, get smushed.
Good guy, Leviathan. But we do have Venicus showing us a legend sword. Forge not required this evening, but could open up a very nice shop. Could be life staves, could be crystal rings, and other things like that in a forge shop. So not the worst. We do have Venicus not going to Ordeals. Looks like he may be setting up Sheila 1. So
Yep.
not going to pick up that time save that we were talking about.
Yeah, Venicus is thinking Fabul right now, so wants to be able to get those two routed in. But he is the first one on the board with objective number 3 completed with that Liberate Baron Castle. So first one on the restream here to get going. We've also got a number of other racers going here in the Pink Puff League finale tonight. As we've already stated, Curios and Venicus were our top 2 Pink Puffs for Season 2, so that's why they are being featured. And this is the Sirens Call, the finale. So getting our Pink Puffs ready for the Adamant Cup.
Yeah, lots of amazing runners in this race, not just on Restream, but also behind the scenes. And that is the beautiful part of this, is the Pink Puff League welcoming and catering to newer runners. And they have done an amazing job showing up and showing out every week, just demonstrating their skills. And you can see the week-by-week improvement. And that, to me, is the best part, that the runners just keep getting better and better. And I am so excited for them to be part of the next tournament as well, for those who decide to join.
Yeah, and if this is your first time here and you're liking what you see, after the event, we'll probably be having another Pink Puff League. So definitely, get on the Discord, check out, the information that's out there. We can get you learning about the game and, racing, and if you feel that comfort to be able to do so.
Yeah, and on that Discord, you will find all sorts of helpful folks to answer any questions you may have, whether you're starting out, whether you're looking for more in-depth information. But there's always a helpful hand willing to be lent. An amazing community, one of the best I've been a part of uh, overall in my life. Certainly the best that I've been a part of on the internet.
Now, Curios checked out the Baron shop, found black belt keys and some arrows for that Artemis bow. So maybe think in a different direction, especially once he gets this Rosette after the Baron Castle.
Yeah, gonna let Sid do some archery practice on whatever is coming up boss-wise. Looking like we have an Artemis bow Sid going to be the anchor, because he is probably the fastest member of the party right now, which is not something you get to hear every day.
Let the engineer shoot things.
As long as Sid has access to a good bow and arrow or a stack of kamikazes, he's got a spot on my team.
Darn tootin'. Venicus is getting the Fabul checks out of the way though. Sheila 1's gonna be giving him a rat tail, has a Luca key. We'll see where he decides to go, if he's gonna follow Curios and head up Ordeals. I don't believe Curios went and turned in the pan checks, decided to go ahead and do Baron first. So it'll be interesting to see when Curios decides to route those in.
Yeah, I think part of this is just the follow your objectives, chase your freebies thing, where Curios may have said something to the effect of, well, I have this potential character check open. It's a really easy check. Let me go ahead and just get another character, get my party going a little better. And then, oh, it turns into the Baron key and I'm already here. It wouldn't make sense to pan in now. So just following his not gambles per se, but following his leads, if you will. So just seeing things through. Unfortunately for Venicus, we see him now going up Ordeals, which we know is going to pay out. It has the pan, and that's great. But boy, he's going to be like, oh, I wish I would have done this before I did the Fabul stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Venicus will be getting that information here shortly. Meanwhile, Curios getting through the evil wall, just, not a threat to this party at all with Palom, with his full contingent of spells and the levels we have. This overworld is going to be going near.
And looks like Venick is continuing to knock out Sid here, but going to give us a little bit of a speech, it looks like. Something, something, justice. There's
What
justice for all, right?
what is the other ways though? What are the other rights?
I don't know. I guess someday we'll see.
When will someday be now?
I don't know. Time is confusing. It's a social construct I don't understand.
When will then be now?
You know, I can't read, and if those words were put on paper, I still don't think I'd understand what was going on. I'm confused.
Well, blink and you miss it, and Antlion is down for Kyrios. Our runners will be syncing up here soon. Um, Venick is only a boss fight behind, roughly. Still has to run down Ordeals still. But yeah, our runners will be really close. And if you haven't done so, please give our runners a follow. They're putting on a really excellent race for us here.
Yeah, again, we kind of alluded to it early on about leveraging the power that you accumulate on this flag set. And this has played out a little differently than normal for this flag set, where it hasn't been powered by items, it's been powered by levels. But both of them are doing a phenomenal job of leveraging that power. So kudos to Kyrios and Venicus, and do make sure to give them a follow as they have done a fantastic job thus far. And it'll be interesting to see where our runners go from here. I would assume Kyrios' next stop will be the Panturnans, and then I would assume after that, Dwarf Castle has to be nearing the radon for our runners. Uh, well, looks like Kyrios going back underground and going to be hitting Dwarf immediately. So no Panturnans yet. I hope that Kyrios has not forgotten about turning the pan in.
Yeah, I think this is possibly a proximity thing. Again, that crystal sword is probably burning a hole in his pocket. Prioritizing these character checks, like you were talking about earlier, just the fact that Dwarf Castle doubles as a character and a key item check. Hopefully knowing that only 2 items away from go mode. So we'll probably see this done, and this is easily doable with a quick Palom.
Yeah, definitely true. Between Quake Palom, between Defense Sword Kane, having access to a Rosa, uh, definitely nothing that could stop the runners. Maybe some things that could slow them down, but not stop them. I do also want to highlight something that Kyrios just did inventory-wise. Picked up 4 exits. There's no guarantee that Kyrios is going to complete the Tower of Za or find someone who can cast exit. So picking up those exits means if a lunar dive happens with this party, you don't have to warp out. I think that's really heads up. Also with Twin Harp being an objective, you know that you're going to want to exit out of there. So I just think that's a really great play by Kyrios picking those exits up.
Yeah, that is a great heads up play. We'll see if Venicus does the same thing when he ends up at Dwarf. We'll see. Looks like Venicus is going to go and chase that pan though. But yeah, nice play, especially if you may find a late Earth Crystal or something like that. And by the time that happens, you may not be doing it. So definitely want to save the time by being able to quickly get out of some of these dungeons.
Yeah, and this is a potentially interesting fight for Kyrios here. Is it Mylon and Friends, which would be easy, or is it Mylon Z? With it being Mylon and Friends, this is just cast Quake, watch Friends fall over. Uh, the Mylon Z fight would have taken considerably longer because Quake would not have been on the table. It would have had to be Virus. So, a nice bit of fortune for our runners having an AoE specialist in Palom here. And looks like Venicus, meanwhile, doing this pan bonk. Where, oh where, has the small child gone? Because we have found a Bahamut sign. And that would be enough to get Iridia in my team.
Absolutely, Rydia being able to use that. Kyrios is about to get even more summons for the Rydia here once this Mylon Friends is down. So we'll see who shows up here as the character, as Venicus is going to be doing Sheila too.
Yeah, both plays make a ton of sense. One of them is following your freebies, and the other is following a potential Crystal Sword wielder. So I like both plays here. We do see a sparkle, which is potentially dangerous on Kyros's side, if that's a surprise wyvern, that's awkward. And what is the opposite of a crystal sword wielding Cecil? A charm harp wielding bard.
Charm Harp
That.
wielding bard that doesn't have
Uh-oh.
Saloon. Oh
Oh, that
no.
there that yep, that danger, danger. Bye-bye. Wyvern claims another.
And that's
Unfortunate, but it happens.
and that's where you wonder, maybe I should have kept the young.
Yeah, Yang would have walked that off. You are not wrong. But it's not a Cecil.
Venicus, though, is checking the sand ruby that he got from Sheila too.
This could also be a Cecil or a Fusoya. Or it could
Another
be a small child. Our
Oh,
runners
sorry.
have done a lot of restricted character checks and not found Pater yet.
Yeah, that was Braid on the left. That's Porum, right?
I think I saw a little green cloak there, which is how I see it. And that would be Porum, yes. I don't do the hair thing. Everyone has their own way. It's fantastic. The Palom versus Porum debate in the community of how do you tell them apart is the best conversation, because out of context you would be like, what are all of these people talking about? It is a wonderful conversation that I think happened again on the Discord like a week ago. And I love it every time it comes up because we all have different strategies for telling them apart, and there is no wrong way to go about it.
Yeah, and you'll notice here, depending on if Finicus runs immediately into this fight or does some shopping, our runners are, doing the same check, and Venicus is a check ahead at this point.
And Venicus does also spot the exits and picks up two. So I really think this highlights just with all that's going on for the runners, both of them being cognizant enough to be like, oh, hey, exits, those could really help. I think that's just so heads up by both of them.
Yeah, and you think, oh, I've got a white mage, I'll get that exit eventually. Not maybe you don't remember that Rosa doesn't get exit until after you do Zot. So having the heads up to just make sure you pull those exits for any potential moon dives, for Twin Harp. Those are really only some of the locations we've got left.
And it looks like Venicus opting to stick to the anchor plan here on this Sid, and this may benefit him going forward into this next fight up against Wyvern. May have the ability to get a veil off a lot easier than Kyrios, who is going with a more traditional sense of anchoring, at least as far as the vanilla game would be concerned, where you're not using a floor tank. Where, in this case, Venicus is using a free enterprise traditional anchor in a floor tank of some sort. In vanilla, of course, Cecil is your anchor. So we'll see if Kyrios has the speed to get this veil off. I'm hoping for his sake he does, because this second spot, this Golbez spot, is pretty fast.
Yeah, really fast, not a lot of health, so if you can just get a Quake off, you can probably take the Wyvern down. But it has to get that Quake off to have even a chance.
Oh, and Dave pointing out in chat that Kyrios does have a cursed ring. So if the cursed ring is on Sid, then everything I said is a moot point, and the Star Veil should be able to come up pretty easy here. Or not. All right, Wyvern 2, runners 0. That is not the best situation that our runners are finding themselves in here. And Kyrios is saying, greener pastures lie elsewhere. I will go play on that one.
Yeah, let's see if Venicus can get through this Wyvern.
Says no to Edward. And maybe Kyrios had never set up the pan bonk. Maybe that is why he is headed down this way. There is Mega Nuke, and that is Wyvern 3, runners 0.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Venicus has the curse ring. I know I saw Kyrios actually loot one there in Baron Town as well. So Venicus is hoping that Wyvern Standard Time is going to take a little bit of time, though, to get through that Mylon and Friends fight again, just because of that Wyvern Standard Time.
Yeah, it's a tough one. but for our runners, it does kind of make sense because they are at basically a critical mass of checks where you have Dwarf Castle, which obviously now we know it kind of stinks because the Wyvern's sitting there. You have Keyless Tower, which could be great and free, could be awful. You know, Wyvern's not up there, so that's great. But you're looking at another fast spot with 20 something thousand HP. You have Sealed Cave, which could be a nightmare depending on the boss there. You have Barren Basement, which has 44 agility. Like, all of these spots are very awkward for this team. They do not have power overwhelming that you normally would have. They have power by levels. So it's a very awkward situation our runners find themselves in for this flag set.
Yeah, I think I would be right along with Zeta Cat. I'd probably be heading down to Luca, just to kind of, peek that, especially because if it is a bunk check or, like a spoon or something like that, you just reset out, you don't have to worry about the boss. And hopefully that it's, either something good that, an easy boss, or maybe you just gear up and try and get some levels on that Rosa. I know Venicus has some more sirens, so could get some more levels on that Rosa to get Blink to take on the Octomammoth.
Yeah, that's true. There's a couple ways to approach it. As far as Sealed Cave goes, if our runners were to go down there, they would keep the key item because that is an objective. So they wouldn't reset out of that.
Yeah.
But the issue with that is that can be a very difficult fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the problem that Venicus is likely going to run into here is without, like, really sturdy menuing and really crisp menuing here, I'm worried that with only one other person alive here, without having Rosa to kind of buffer the queue a little bit, that unless the menuing is extremely crisp here, the Veil still may not fire. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that my fears are not warranted here. But I'm a little bit afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wonder.
Oh, the dodge!
Oh, the dodge! Get it, Palom! I was just about to suggest that, Ryben. Would this be a situation to take the Edward, knowing you can pick that Sid back up out of Mysidia?
Oh, 327 damage shy.
Oh, no.
You hate to see it. Kyrios opting to go for some more sirens. I do know that Kyrios bought that 10 stack. And is most likely just going to get everyone or someone's to the point where they can tank that. That being said, Wyvern 4, runners 0.
And Venick is doing the same thing. Going to be popping some sirens. Probably going to be knocking down Sid again as well.
Yeah, it's just a rough spot. Wyvern there is not pleasant. There's a lot of great things that can come from this Dwarf Castle, but none if you can't get through it.
And the magic power being in the first spot, those the lightning hits and the punch from Mylon definitely causing some problems to not consistently get enough characters through.
Yeah, now we do see that Kane is going to have enough HP here, as long as he can go into the second fight maxed, that he will be able to survive an unnerf Big Bang there. But he has to be able to get through it. Venicus going into the Fae March. Maybe hunting Warrior Chest, if he knows where it is, could just get a Quake off, or may just be heading in with Blink and Berserk and going to take on the Octomam, which isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it is an objective. Maybe thinking Luge as well. Luge is not great in the Leviathan spot. Balnam can hit pretty hard, but both of these are physical fighting spots that if Rosa's got Blink, Venicus may feel confident and be able to take him out.
And with that Dr. Luge fight, one of the interesting things about that fight is it is technically free. You just have to know the technical part behind it. And it's kind of a niche situation, but it would apply here. That you could Quake the first half of it. Every single ability that Luge does in the second form is either reflectable or nullifiable, we're going to make up a word here, by star veils. Uh, Beam reflects onto Luge and takes out 10% of his health in Form 2. Laser just fizzles, and Emission reflects for a piddly amount of damage. So if you can get a veil or a couple veils up, you'd be fine against that Luge as long as you can get to the second form. With Palom quaking through the first form, it's not unreasonable to expect Venicus to be able to get through this if he knows how to take that Luge on.
Yep, but it looks like Octomammoth is first on the list. We'll see how he decides to handle it.
Well, I know how Palom's handling it, and it's not well.
Yeah, the Palom's head's hurt.
Oh, that's not the characters you wanted to go down right away, and that is going to be a fairly quick reset.
Yeah, hoping for a little RNG right there, trying to get those blinks up.
You see Kyrios is back in Dwarf Castle. Probably not thrilled that he is looting the same items and buying the same Charm Rod for a third time, but this is the situation that he finds himself in. May also be opting for a black shirt here for Palom. That will help with a little bit of evasive maneuvering for those mega nukes. Wow, I'm thinking Big Bang over here. It's like, no, that's not for a while.
But you did say Big Bang earlier.
Did I? Big Bangs, Mega Nukes. You know what? It wipes the party. It would all kill them at this point. So as long as they can dodge, they're good. Words are hard. Words are hard.
Words are hard. Even with the T Wildish, mage armor still feels like, a luxury on a lot of, at least my runs. I can't seem to find the correct mage gear until either really late in the seed or, when it's, early and I don't even have mages.
Yeah, I mean, mage gear to me is like if I have a spare adamant armor, a mage gets it. Otherwise, they probably don't have any armor that they're wearing. That's usually how it turns out for me.
And it looks like we've got both runners, though, that are just gearing up to go, for whatever round they are on this Wyvern.
Yeah, I think Venicus is going to opt to save here. I think Kyrios is like, look, I have at least 2.5 characters that are probably going to survive this. So even if I just have to face tank this, we'll be fine. The other interesting thing here is with the extra levels, Palom and Rosa, they might just both dodge it now because it's only a single roll, and they both might just stare at Wyvern and be like, "That's cute. I wish you would have done this before, but we're good now."
One thing to notice too that Kyrios did is Kyrios did some extra hits on the Mylon and himself so that Palom's Quake would actually take it out as well, so he wouldn't get those extra quick attacks from Mylon. That was another good heads-up play. Kyrios really showing why he is leading the Pink Puff League in this season.
Yeah, definitely doing a great job. No dodges. Rosa living with 19 health. Well done, Rosa. Kyrios will be through this time. So gonna life up that Palom, get a Quake off, and that is gonna be all she wrote. So well done to Kyrios adapting to the situation. Or just land a jump for 2,400 damage. But Kyrios, our first runner through that rude Wyvern. So hopefully the Reign of Terror ends now.
Yep, and Venicus will probably not be very far behind. He's going to be going into this with 3 characters up. One of them's going to at least live through the Mega Nuke, so should be able to get through this as well.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things about the last attempt from Venicus, and this is a really tough thing to do on the fly, you kind of get a little panicked in these situations. I think being at the lower battle speed that Venicus was on, getting a life potion off with Palom may have been a more suitable way to try to get through it than going with just a direct Quake approach. Looks like Venicus is taking the Edward over the Cid. Interesting as well. So going to try to get this Veil up. Does not get the Veil up in time. Palom does dodge. Yep. Kane takes 1254.
Wow.
A full-on max roll there. But we'll see. Does he go for the life potions? How does Venicus approach this now?
Gotta get that Quake off.
Quake and hope.
Oh no.
Low roll. He's got a lot of evasive magic gear on.
Yeah.
Low roll.
That high rolled too. And chat pointing out that was a Dragoon Spear as the reward for this. So Venicus, if Venicus leaves this alone, is not going to be punished. So, and it looks like that is what he's doing. He's going to be heading to the tower. We've got Curios going down the sealed cave.
Yeah, so we have Sealed Cave versus Keyless Tower. These are two checks that a lot of runners both don't like. Sealed Cave is a long walk, a very fast boss. Keyless Tower is a long walk, a very fast boss. Sealed Cave has a lot of magic. Top of Tower really doesn't have a lot of anything but speed and hit points. A little punchy if the wrong boss is up there, but Sealed Cave, Curio should be fine, has the Curse Ring, has a bunch of levels on everyone, so I think both runners, given their situation, are making the correct plays.
Yeah, me personally, I am not a fan of the Keyless Tower. I've heard the numbers, I've seen people talk about it and stuff like that. I personally just don't like it. So I'd be diving Sealed Cave myself right now if it was me.
Yeah, I think I would also be going after Sealed Cave just because it's an objective, but Venicus does not have the levels to make that a comfortable dive, so I definitely understand this. And oh hey, King Queen Eblin on the hook route, a little French vanilla there, and Bahamut up at the top of the tower here, so that's a freebie.
Yeah.
So top of tower, not too bad. Going to be less rude than Wyvern's Mega Nuke, that's for sure.
Sorry, it took a bite there right as you finish your thought.
Oh, no worries. Well, it looks
vanilla.
like... So we are a Twin Harp from Go Mode.
Oh, this is going to turn into just a straight up Twin Harp hunt, isn't it?
Which is unfortunate because that is the worst of all of the the key items. Well, there's a lot of bosses that would be really scary down here. This is not one of them. 3 soldiers and an officer gating the Darkness Crystal at a really scary spot.
Yeah.
That won't challenge our runners at all.
And it doesn't have another coffin. I don't know if Venicus does for whenever he decides to come down here, but would have been able to make short work. But blink and you miss it, this fight is over.
Yeah, so Curious going to be the first of our on-screen runners to be able to have access to another gated character check. Again, our runners have been sitting on a crystal sword for about 40 minutes. That has got to be weighing on them, thinking, can I please find a paladin? And maybe our runners will okay, well, there's the Twin Harp at the top of tower.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
we are in no mode. We know where everything is that our runners need. The issue with this is a huge trap for Curios. This is really dangerous. This is the type of situation where you can go Keyless Tower and you can get Go Mode and be done with the seed in an hour and 15 minutes or less. Or you can do what I would do in Curios' situation and go full clear the moon. And why would you do top of tower when you have the whole moon to do? I'm scared for Curios' well-being on this seed because this trap is so punishing, but also so delightful because you're just so incentivized to do the moon.
Yeah, and the fact that Curios is going into this Octomammoth, which I assume he's going to the Octomammoth, tells me that he is thinking, let's get as many objectives done on the blue planet as we can. Hope that we get that harp in the meantime, but he's probably going to be thinking the moon.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of chef's kiss moments, if you will, from Asuka. I don't know that I've seen many of these where the only lunar key items of relevance lunar objectives of relevance are exactly your, Cave Bahamut Crystal Sword Altar. Normally you find a key item of some sort that you need from the moon on a lot of these. So that's a pretty funny situation. The one saving grace, I guess, for Curios is it could at least be a Cecil on the moon. It could be a Fu, and having access to that earlier could be a huge boon.
Yep, but we do have Venicus chasing that Twin Harp. It is an objective, so it is going to be going. And why is the Harp such a popular check, Possum? I know you may not share the popularity of the check. I've seen your emotes, but why is it for most of the community the harp is a popular check?
I don't know. No, so the harp the harp has randomized music. Basically, it's a fantastic feature that's been put in by the devs where you have all sorts of different, generally video game musics that are floating around. So our runners will get to have the viewers kind of participate in playing a fun little game called Name That Tune. But we'll get to see, what song is gracing our runners and see if they are going to be able to get through this check and maybe have it not be something like Golbez where it breaks the music. But it's going to be a fantastic time. Everyone loves random music. It is honestly one of the coolest features in the randomizer, in my opinion. So definitely job well done to the devs for making this happen. I do think it is a really cool feature, even if I think the check is long for no reason.
Chat wanting this to be longer still, with the alt gauntlet being here, just to have that harp music play even longer.
That would be fantastic. Do we still do the thing where we talk through it or no? Is that back in vogue again?
It really depends on who you are and whether or not the restreamer is really just going to mute us outright or not.
Gotcha. So if we're Rivers, we can do it. If we're anyone else, we can't. Okay, noted.
The ending theme for Super Mario World is quite nice. Another non-key item check in a K-main spot, though. That's an Artemis bow. We saw Curios pick up a Moon Veil from that Octomammoth.
Yeah, continuing a fantastic trend on this seed, which is, oh, hey, that thing that would have helped with the boss you fought? Here, you can have it after? The Dragoon Lance from Wyvern, beautiful. The Moon Veil from Octomam, beautiful. It's an objective, it's done, but you kind of look at it and you're like, thanks, game.
But another objective down for Venicus, having that twin harp. We'll see Curios is working on the Dr. Luge right now to see if he's going to continue fighting through the Overworld or the Blue Planet or head to the Moon. And we'll see where Venicus goes. I would assume probably that Luca.
Yeah, Luca Cave would make a lot of sense in Venicus's case. Just kind of coming down now to Barren Basement, Sealed Cave, or the Fae March. I think Luca or the Fae March would make a lot of sense. Barren Basement is still a great unknown to us, but one thing we do know about it is it's not required. So it'll be interesting to see where Venicus heads. Going south, we may be getting... Nope, going back underground, so probably the Sealed Cave coming up now.
Does bypass the trap that is Dwarf Castle. Not going to take another crack at that Wyvern just yet. So if Venicus decides to dive into this Luca Cave, is going to be rewarded with go mode.
Looks like he may be picking up some more sirens before diving anywhere, which is not the worst idea. This is the interesting type of seed on this flag set where you could have gotten away with doing what we love to call 30 sirens in a dream.
Hmm.
where you just go ahead and load everybody up. You find a couple party members you want to push to the end game, and you just grind. 34,000 XP at a time. You do 30 eggs, you get everyone to nuke and white and power overwhelming and go blow up the seed. It's not a common practice on this flag set at all, but given how this one's played out, it could have been a thing with this one. It's very interesting.
Yeah, Night 2 pointing out something really good. Curious wants to find exactly a tower key right here.
Yeah, that would be the singular best item for Kyrios to find. Otherwise, there may be a very long lunar experience coming up.
Oh,
Well, we have Sid's best weapon, Artemis Bow, Artemis Arrow. That's all I got.
yeah. Not what you want to see. And those exits already coming in handy. Popping one of them right now.
Yeah, so Kyrios has Keyless Tower, Barren Basement, and all of the moon available. $1 million question. Where's Kyrios going to go? Not to the tower. So this is expected, honestly, that I'd be looking at moon. I'm a little surprised here. We might be getting a Barren Basement check.
Yeah, that's what it looks like Curious is gearing up for. Healing up the party, popping a 10. Gonna probably check this basement out. Again, same thing though. This will be really hoping for a tower key, I think.
This is a little interesting in that if this gives a key item and Kyrios gets to 9 key items off of this, he may be incentivized to do Keyless Tower and then try to get to 10 before going to the moon. You do ideally want to be at 10 key items on the moon, either for your grind beforehand or just grinding off of moon bosses. So this could end up in a situation where Kyrios does end up at that Keyless Tower. Really remains to be seen. That's a sparkle though, and sparkles are scary.
That's not so scary. Curious has that Dragoon Spear. The Quack Kid.
Yeah, getting that Cane zerked up if that Dragoon Spear is on. Gonna do bad things to this Pale Dim.
Alright, Venicus is over here popping a few more, trying to speed up the Palom. You need some arrows.
Yeah, that's a really interesting feature that you have to have arrows equipped in order to get the benefit from the Artemis Bow. It's a super strange interaction, but
One thing too. Oh, he's doing it just to. Okay, so where are you going? Oh, heading back for revenge on the Wyvern.
Venicus has a bone to pick.
Or could just be healing. We're not sure yet.
Looks like Kyrios is zerking up with a defense sword on Kane as opposed to the the Dragoon Lance. So going to be a little longer there, but does have that RD on Sid. So going to be able to zerk that Sid and power through this pretty easily regardless. So a little bit of a time loss from Optimal, but still not going to be a punish at all. Kyrios going to get through this fight pretty quickly.
Yep, and Venicus did swerve us and is heading down to Lucas. So Venicus will be in go mode after completing the sealed cave. We know it's a free fight down there. We know it's the Darkness Crystal. We'll be sitting at 9 key items. All the Zeus gauntlets in the seed, all of them.
Yeah, this is interesting for both runners that it's going to be very difficult to get to 10 key items. But you might just see some lunar shenanigans while our runners are trying to get to 10, or maybe try to pick up a free spot or two. Even with Cave Bahamut and Crystal Sword Altar being the objectives, I don't think our runners are really in a situation where they can take a level 40 set of characters and be able to just get to Zeromus with that. So they're going to need a little help on the back end still, and they won't be able to get to that 10th key item unless they find it on the moon.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see how they decide to get to a comfortable point with these 9 key items. Venicus could be hoping that maybe K Value provides that last one. Going to be sitting there counting quickly on his tracker here right now to see where he's at. Curious, I assume, is probably going to be hitting Cave Bahamut here first. Maybe check the character.
Yeah, and I like the line from Kyrios going to the moon rather than Keyless Tower. That is certainly, as we discussed, something I would do, and I think you were in that same camp as well. That we'd
Agreed.
both be up on the moon. There's no wrong or right decisions. It's just what works for this seed. But I know that we'd both lose this seed by a comfortable margin because we'd fade Keyless Tower. So that's one of the cool parts about the randomizer is neat and different things happen. And this is a seed where neat and different things are happening.
This too maybe makes you wonder, like, the familiarity of these two runners. Check in. They've raced 13 races against each other in the PPL league, so may have gained some familiarity with each other's styles. May have watched some videos. So maybe Venick is thinking, hey, Curious likes to chase the objective. Maybe I'll just, never does Keyless Tower. So maybe I'll take a gamble. So, and this time it paid off. So let's see if Venicus can close this out. Is in go mode.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see from Venicus's perspective how he approaches this. That is yet another gated character spot that doesn't have a restricted character. We have what? The Tower of Zot, the Hook, the Giant, and the Package.
Mm-hmm.
5 character checks left. Cecil and Fu have to be there somewhere, but my goodness. That crystal sword that our runners found oh so long ago
is not going to get used.
Might as well have been the thing.
And to Ryben's question, do we have any edge weapons? We have a ninja sword and a long blade.
I mean, I would take the edge over Palom personally.
At this point, I would agree with you. Palom's not going to have as much oomph. Like Quake is nice. We don't have an adamant armor to really send Palom soaring with the speed that he's needed. I would take the edge just for that extra speed.
Yeah, not just speed, but the fact that sets you up for Zerker strats against Aromas. And I just like going Zerker strats rather than dealing with the reflex stuff on this flag set. I guess Chad is pointing out that if Kyrios sold the ninja sword, then if you're running around with a double mute knife edge, that's a different story. So maybe because of party comp, it's just not viable at this point. Which is, a little unfortunate, but them's the breaks. It's a randomizer.
I saw a ninja sword in as Curious was kind of scrolling through. I didn't catch which one it was though.
I know there was a long sword in there, but tough to see. Oh my goodness. Usually Clueless, thank you so much for gifting 20 subs to the community. Absolutely amazing generosity from you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Usually Clueless. Shouting out, let's go Pink Puffs.
Let's go Pink Puffs indeed, and they are going to need your support because this Baigen, granted, Wyvern caused our runners trouble. This Baigen is going to cause them a lot more.
Yeah.
This is the punchiest spot in the game, or tied for it. Yeah, this is gross. And there will be casualties unless a Moon Veil is used, which I believe we did get from the Octomam.
We did we did get one, but that vampire can still take you down, so.
Yeah, this is rough. This is an unenviable situation to be in, and that is not having power overwhelming and messing around with a Lunar Baigen.
Yeah, in the question chat, I don't believe Palom is going to one-shot those arms with the Quake.
Maybe if he has a Stardust Rod?
I think he's rocking Charm.
Looks like we are getting some gold dragons before attempting anything further. Gonna be just zerking up Kane most likely, and relying on not dying. Oh, going with jump strats. Okay. This is such a risky proposition with no hourglasses or no stops to take these on. These dragons are so rude.
Yeah, and I don't know, did Curios sell the Dragoon Lance or did he throw it on?
It is on. He swapped off the defense sword for the Dragoon Lance. And did not one-shot even. That is so awkward.
No.
And now Kane is entangled. Yeah, that is the the issue with this particular grind fight is the gold dragons. If you don't have ways to stop them or you don't actively stop them, they are unpleasant. There is no better way to say it. They're just unpleasant.
Curios is going to opt to do some LST diving. Maybe hoping he will pull the pass from that Crystal Sword altar so that he can go and meander on down to the moon. In his mind, he's still looking for a key item as well. So,
yeah, for Curios, it's not just about the moon altars. It's not just about Cave Bahamut and Crystal Sword. It's also about the Twin Heart. So it's one of those situations where he needs to figure out what is best for him in order to proceed. We know in Venicus' situation, this is wildly different. But Venicus is still going to be presented with the same issue, and that issue is Baigen. Who knows? We'll see what happens with it, but we have a lot of different opinions from chat on what our runners should do. I think that chat is onto something here. You have behemoths, you have trap chests, you have a lot of options. One of the interesting things we never saw from our runners, they never went after Eblin Castle, having Quake and having Palom. And you have roughly a 1 in 9 shot of hitting an adamant armor from Eblin Castle trap chests. That would make everything super pretty. So that is definitely something that's on the table. And looks like Venicus is giving us a fake out.
Maybe Venicus heard you speak.
Hold on. Is this real life? Are we getting an hour and 10 minute Eblin Castle check? That would be fantastic. As I'm talking about it, that would be great.
It looks to be the case. Venicus is going in, has already full cleared this out, so knows where the trap chests are. So can just run in and oh no, it didn't full clear it.
It looks like we have a Mylon Z on Curios' side. This is a much more manageable fight. A lot less dangerous, obviously, than Baigen. Still gross, because it punches, but not going to be, a situation where you're likely to wipe, whereas with Baigen, you're very likely to wipe.
Yeah, this is also the Ribbon Room, so a ton of XP, a ton of HP. If you were going this route, I probably would have preferred to maybe try the White Spear first, just hoping to get that 10th key item.
Wow, Samurai Bow. That's a reward that exists from Eblin Castle. Uncommonly awful. Tier 5 is actually the lowest tier, percentage-wise, that you're going to find items from. So that is a really bad low roll on Venicus' side from that first trap chest. Also, thank you to Profness for another 5 gifted subs. Y'all are on fire tonight. The generosity is honestly overwhelming. Such an amazing community.
Yeah, the community coming out, showing the love for the pink puffs. There's another holy sword.
Yeah, more of the seed kind of teasing our runners. That is a tier 8, but it is not the tier 8 that our runners were looking for.
But is it the one that we deserve?
Yes.
Could be something, though, if Venicus decides to take that edge. Another thing to dart.
It is interesting. In a world where you go reflect strats, Edge with darts functions much better than Kane in a reflect strat team, because Edge is still able to get a couple of high-profile actions in that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. We do see a hook and a ribbon from the ribbon room, so get your vanilla out. The hook, another chance at a Cecil, but I don't think we're going to see Curios leave the moon to dive for that. I think that would be very ambitious.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's probably not going to get checked. Maybe that rat tail will be at some point, but we're probably just going to be seeing Curios full clear this moon. Venicus, meanwhile, is picked up a white spear from that last one, so decent pickup. Not what you were hoping for, though. You really wanted that adamant armor.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, even like a white shirt would have gone a long way for Rosa. An Avenger for Kane. There were a lot of good hits there, none of which came up for Venicus there. We do see Kyrios starting to get some traction on the moon. Was able to get through that Mylon Z, picked up 100k XP for the party, and now is presented with a water hag next door. So picked up a hook, picked up a ribbon, going to be able to pick up some more XP here. Going to be looking a lot better XP wise. Also, will have a
There's a
pass.
pass.
So that could be a little bit of an advantage as well. But still sitting at 9 key items, not able to get the 10th key item. And that is a little bit awkward for Kyrios. Not necessarily going to have all the XP he may want by the end of this, even after full clearing the moon.
Yeah, and Venicus doesn't need that pass. Venicus can go and just do the Crystal Sword Altar last and, walk on down to Z. So not gonna, have the quickest way there in case there needs to be a refight in the event of a bad Zeromus wipe. But is not gonna be really punished for not having the pass either.
Well, this is not a free fight. Mom
Oh.
Bomb, pretty
Oh.
gross here, but Kyrios should be okay in this fight, having, over 2,000 HP on Kane and Sid, 1,600 on Rosa with some decent armor. Should be okay. Famous last words.
Worst boss in the game, hands down.
I'm not a fan. When I first started playing Free Enterprise, I had a hook seed, and I could not get through that seed. That's one of the few seeds that I literally just put down and couldn't finish. And that was because I didn't know how to beat Mom Bomb at Ruby's spot. So I've had whatever the opposite of a soft spot is for Mom Bomb since I first started playing this game. So I agree with you. Mom Bomb is a key boss.
Let's just delete Mom Bomb from the game.
Make Mom Bomb always appear in the water hag spot.
Yes, 100%.
I like it. Also, Venicus is about to find something he doesn't like, and that's going to be Baigen. Not that Venicus has anything against Baigen, but nobody likes Baigen, and really nobody likes Baigen at this spot.
Yeah, I would almost be willing to throw that Artemis bow on Rosa, put her in a top spot so she can get that blink off as fast as possible.
Yeah, the blinks are going to be more important than healing. Kyrios, meanwhile, is through that Mom Bomb. Very well done. Let's see if Kyrios finally gets a 10th key item. Not only a 10th key item, but the Earth Crystal. That might be enough to push Kyrios back between the Earth Crystal and the Rat Tail to check. Maybe push him back to Earth, or may also just opt to take out the Crystal Sword Altar right now since it is an objective.
Yeah, I think absolutely you take that Crystal Sword out, especially with the pass in hand. You don't want to have to come back here.
Yeah, so looks like we had a blink queued up on Kane. Baigen said, "Nice try, bud." And then Palom is dead as well. This is going to be a reset. Yeah, back row Rosa, and yeah, goodbye. Yeah, it's a rude fight, yo. It's just not a fun one.
And not having really any gear, defensive gear. We haven't found a glass hat. We haven't found really any strong. I think the strongest body armor we have found for Kane is samurai armor. So, no mage robes really, other than that black shirt. Rosa's, no defensive gear whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, Rose is trying. Everyone's trying. That moon veil may come in handy here. We have the lunar shuffle happening as we have D-lunars at the objective spot here. Now, this is interesting because there are Artemis arrows floating around. This is a situation where the virus damage here is basically nothing. This fight is way faster and way safer, honestly, by just zerking up whoever has Artemis arrows. Kind of a weird situation, because normally the viruses are super scary against D-Lunar. but not in this case, because this spot has super low magic and only 25,000 hit points. So 2 shots from the Artemis arrows would just wipe out these D-Lunars.
Yeah, and showing off the Dragoon Lance with the racial damage doing 4,500 damage as well. This first D-Lunar is probably going down really quickly.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad fight to come across at all.
Can try and get some of these arms down. Oh, Kane taking a big hit. Palom shrugged one off.
This is where that Moon Veil would really, really come in handy. And that is not going to be enough to take out the arms. So this is not a great situation for Venicus. And there is the Artemis Bow on Palom as well, nerfing his magic, which is not going to be helping here.
Is it on Palom or is it on Rosa? I thought he had the Artemis Bow on Rosa.
I think it's on Palom based on that damage, because I think there was a Stardust Rod or a Charm Rod available. The Quakes should be doing more than that.
Oh! And the Crystal Sword altar is in adamant armor.
Well, good news for Kyrios. That is going to help with Baigen. That's all I got.
It's absolutely going to help.
It's one of those things where adamant armor is just busted. So to me, that adamant armor just goes on Kane, and you just zerk him, and that takes care of Baigen. And that is exactly what Kyrios is going to do. So I like the play here. But Kyrios may be going for the Murasame altar first.
Yep. Yeah, again, Kyrios is still looking for that Twin Harp, so is going to full clear this moon. Venicus is looking really good, I think. I'd like to see him throw that Moon Veil.
Yeah, agreed. It also gets a little wonky because you're going to end up in a situation where the walls are going to start reflecting, and then you won't be able to get blinks back up anymore. Yeah. So that's the concern, is it's not necessarily right now, but like if this wall reflects and hits Rosa, that blink is going to reflect back on Baigen. It did hit Kane, thankfully.
getting the good board face AI right there and having 2 walls reflect onto Kane.
So, I mean, that's a benefit right now. That Quake is a little early. So one of the weird interactions is that Quake does not hit enemies that are not already on the screen. You have to have the arms on the screen. And there we see a blink cast come out from Rosa onto Palom, who has a wall. And that means that it reflected onto the arm in front. And this is where it kind of starts to get a little bit spicy. That's a hit for 2,000 on a back row Palom. That is not going to be great for Venicus here.
Yeah, hoping that Zerkane can do the work, but Zerkane is not back row glitch. We have not seen a Dwarfax this entire seed. So Kane has got to, move forward to back and get that first arm down, but with Blink on it, it's going to be a little hard to do.
Yeah, definitely true. I think in Venicus' situation, I still would like to see a Moonveil come out on Kane, and then just a Bacchus one. And then whatever happens, happens. Because this is a brutal fight, and honestly, go ahead and cheat. Use the Moonveil.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for a reason. Make a fight free. I know you'd have to deal with vampires, but that's fine.
Absolutely. But we're seeing Venicus is going to go dive this lunar subterranean, probably going to head right to that Crystal Sword altar, going to get the adamant armor, which will make that Baigen a lot more free.
Yeah, we're about to see Kyrios have a much different experience than Venicus did with this Baigen fight. So going to be able to quake the arms down right away with the levels and the Stardust Rod he has. And with that damage, I do wonder if the adamant armor may even have been put on Palom. It doesn't look like it, though, with them getting blinked up. Because you wouldn't need to blink someone with an adamant armor. Right. So it must still be on Kane, who's just going to start whacking away here.
Yeah, I think it's on Kane, and I think Palom just has that Charm Rod. I don't know if Venicus ever switched over to the Rod with having the Artemis Bow on, because chat pointed out that Venicus has 2 Artemis Bows.
Yeah, definitely a good point. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for what Kyrios is doing here. But I think we gotta highlight while we have this Bygone fight and we have Venicus walking down the LST, the great job that our restreamer Oscar did with this seed and that she has done all season long with the PPL. So just a huge shout out to Oscar. Just phenomenal all around. Great job. Love the Pink Puff League. Love everyone who's a part of it. Y'all are amazing. And then thank you, of course, to the other folks behind the scenes. Tybalt, you've done a fantastic job pushing the buttons and not hitting them. And Karma, always a pleasure to do this with you, man.
Yeah, same to you, Possum. It's always great to be here talking in the booth. This is my first Pink Puff commentary, so really, really fun time here to just watch these two, putting on a great show for us. If you have not done so, please give them a follow. They've been putting on a really great race for us, showing off a lot of skill, showing off a lot of the reasons why they're being featured here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of great skill shown indeed. And of course, yeah, these runners, if you're not already following them, you definitely should. They have done a fantastic job in this seed and all season long. So very, very interested to see what they will do going forward. As you predicted, Venicus is going to that Crystal Sword altar right away. So we'll get that adamant armor and then may still be ahead after this, knowing that he will not have to do any other altars, assuming he can get through these D-Lunars.
Yeah, and I think Curios needs to probably pull that tower key from the rat tail, since we're just now getting the package. Otherwise, Curios is probably going to do Earth before tower.
Yeah, you would definitely chase the lunar finds here. One of the other things is you start to kind of metagame at this point as well, and you start to think, oh, we're an hour and 20 some odd minutes into this. If the answers were on Earth, wouldn't someone be done already? And I wonder if part of that is going through Curios's mind that, well, it can't be Keyless Tower because someone would be done already. When in fact we know it's Keyless Tower. It's just the seed is rude.
Yeah, rude Bygone, and unfortunately the D-Lunars are punching Venicus right out here. Didn't get him swapped over to doing the virus like you had alluded to earlier, so we'll see if a change in strategy is here. Up for Venicus, meanwhile Curios, we'll see what he decides to do. I suspect this is probably Rat Tail.
Yeah, I think you would go Rat Tail first and probably Earth Crystal second. That would be my guess. But Curios may be saying, I'm just going to go do Earth Crystal. Might also still just want a Fu or a Cecil. While he does have a lot of levels, it doesn't take a lot of time to get a Crystal Sword Cecil online.
Not at all. You can take Crystal Sword Cecil, and as soon as he's got 1600 health, and roll right in, especially with that adamant armor.
Yeah, definitely we'll be able to do some work with an adamant armor, regardless of who it's on. But especially if you have a Crystal Sword adamant armor Cecil, you need probably 2 to 3 sirens for eggs, and then that's your Z-Fight. So, not a bad situation at all for Curios.
Yeah, adamant armor, Zeus gauntlets, Crystal Sword, bandana. Let Cecil hit things.
And looks like we are down to just 2 characters left. This is a little awkward. We have what looks like a Zerked Cane. I'm not sure what weapon is on there, but it is not doing a ton of damage.
It's the white
It looks
spear.
like a white spear. So D-Lunars, oddly enough, are not weak to Holy. They're weak to the Crystal Sword because it hits the undead element. But it's one of those things where the white spear actually doesn't do any bonus damage here. It's super strange, but that is why D-Lunars are weak to what they're weak to. Took me a long time to figure that out. I thought for the longest time, oh hey, they're weak to Holy, because the Crystal Sword does so much damage to them. Because it hits the undead element, not the undead racial, not the Holy element. Super strange, weird interaction, but isn't Free Enterprise just full of them?
Yep, and Ryben pointed out Venicus seeing that the magic is low here, so it's just going to cure through this and let Kane hit things. Is going to get through this fight. It'll be a little slow, but yeah, with that whole racial versus elemental, back and forth, and, it is a good heads up play to still know which spear for Kane does the more damage. It is the Dragoon spear to hit that dragon racial. But yeah, it is really weird that not all undead are weak to Holy.
Yeah, and also on Kyrios' side, first of all, there's a cane that does not help. Second of all, we got an HP ran out on the the Dark Elf fight, which you love to see an HP ran out almost anywhere, but that's always fun to see.
Kane, though, not who Kyrgios was hoping for. Who was in the second spot?
That is
Oh,
also
so
so Hook Package Giant, right?
right, and we haven't seen Rydia, so
Wow. So, but we've had Bahamut for Rydia for a
right.
long time. We've had Crystal Sword for Cecil for a long time, and Fu is Fu. So that's just fantastic. Yeah, those are the three characters that remain, and probably would have been the three most impactful characters that our
Hmm.
runners could have found. That is just delicious. Oh
Oh
boy.
no.
So here's the fun fact about this. You could actually wipe here,
Yeah.
even with an adamant armor. Because if Golbez hits your adamant armor wearer with a virus, they could fall over because, adamant armor is not going to stop the virus. So you still need to Starveil here. Even this late into the game, Golbez can wipe your party here.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying spot for Golbez. The magic is super high. It's actually fairly fast at 18 agility. So this is not one to take lightly. We do get a jump from Kane, so Kirio's going to dodge that.
Oh no.
But needs to get a Veil up to be safe here.
Venicus only bought 2 exits earlier.
Well, gonna be a walkout.
He casts life on Palom.
And this is how you know if someone has walked backwards down the lunar subterrane or not. Because the first couple times I did it, I was like, I don't know where I'm going. And we see Venicus, going to be taking that long walk down the lunar subterrane. Meanwhile, Kyrios does a great job of getting through that very terrifying Golbez. Job well done getting through that, and we'll see how long it takes Kyrios to get to Keyless Tower.
Rexrawl, we did get a journey into the puff room.
Would have been fun to see a siren get popped just to fight some pig puffs.
Got an adamant armor. What's there to be scared of? Pig puffs are terrifying, y'all.
Yeah, they punch really hard. But we'll see. Does Kyrios get the tower key to push him towards where we know that harp is? He does. So I think we're about to see Kyrios head to the tower. That would be my guess because now you have 2 checks, one of which we know was very early on. But I do wonder if we get a cheeky Penguinator special before we actually get a top of tower check.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be very interesting to see if we get that. We got Venicus is getting ready for round 2 on this Vigan. We're going to have a close race, y'all.
Yeah, I think Venicus is still going to be a little bit ahead, but it's going to need some levels still. The grind is not done on Venicus' side. The grind is basically done on Kyrios' side. Although maybe with an adamant armor, you just don't care at this point.
See, this would be a situation, I think, with Kyrios maybe doing the top of the tower first just to see that immediate item. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because maybe Kyrios thinks, oh, I faded this. Maybe other people will have as well. And of note, we do have a lot of folks running this race. No one's done yet. Either on stream, obviously, or off stream. So it could be a situation where everyone faded this, or people have just struggled. And we know that this has not been free.
Yeah, and who knows how many number of people have hit this Vigan wall. Like both of our runners here have been, as we've talked about a number of times, these are the top 2 ping puffs in this season, and both of them have bounced off that Vigan at least once. So definitely taking different approaches. Both of them ended up getting that adamant armor first. Venicus is going to try and get some gold dragons down, though, and see if he can get this XP.
Yeah, this is going to be rough though because every bop on a gold dragon is going to respond with a an entangle, and if those entangles start hitting, it gets really scary. Also, the blitzes from the King Ryus are percentage based, and even though you would think blitz is a lightning based move, it's not. And so what happens is they still deal true damage even through an adamant armor. So if the fight goes on long enough and Kane is the only one left, you'll be in a situation where he could actually die still with an adamant armor on 2 blitzes. Don't ask me why I know this.
I would be tempted to throw a Quake out here with the amount of damage that Kane is putting. I would do a Quake just to kind of speed this up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Meanwhile, we do have Kyrios now in Go mode, has his Twin Harp, so going to be rushing to Cave Magnus, has the pass, and is already going to be right there. So going to be probably 8 to 10 minutes, and Kyrios will be at or done with the seed. Going to be a good time for Kyrios overall. And a bit unfortunate on Venicus' side, only gets XP on Kane.
And only one level.
Yeah, and only one level that did not go how you would want it to go, unfortunately.
But gonna charge up ahead anyway.
And it makes sense. You have an adamant armor, you're ready to go. See if you can get through it.
Kyrios wants nuke on Palom.
Yeah, either nuke on Palom, white on... Actually, at that HP total, I think Rosa already has white. But the nuke will definitely help, because right now, Kyrios' DPS is currently Kane. So I do agree with getting nuke here. I think that is pretty heads up. And it's only going to be 2 sirens to get to nuke. So I definitely like this.
So here's a question for you. You're curious. Do you maybe check that rat tail? You've seen all the other spots. Check that rat tail. I mean, it's got to be pigtail, right?
Well, did Kyrios do?
He's
Kyrios
checked
didn't do
everything
the
else.
super cannon room.
Oh, he didn't do the super cannon room, but yeah.
And also, there's got to be something else.
Oh, it could be the adamant. It's such a close color.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and this twin. No, what's the other check that hasn't been done?
Twin harp and cannon room and the rat tail. For 2 key items, we have adamant and Kington.
Venicus did the.
He didn't do the cannon room. He doesn't have the tower key.
Well, but he did the twin harp already, and we know that didn't give anything. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out where the adamant and the pigtail are. Maybe my brain is just not working.
One of them's at the rat tail.
Yeah, one of them for sure is at the rat tail.
And tower key turn in because Kyrios skipped it.
Oh, right. He skipped it. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, my brain just didn't brain there for a minute. My apologies, y'all.
It's 9:30.
Well, see, it's 6:30 for me, so my brain should not be doing this at this hour.
We are on the same page, chat.
Yes, we got there. That's the important part. Go team, go.
Oh, throw the moon veil. There you go. Yes, Venicus. You can't take the moon veil home with you.
I was just waiting for the vampire to go after Palom and troll and be like, please don't.
Oh no, Venicus, you cast the blink on.
No, blink on Rosa is fine.
Oh, I thought it was blink on Palom.
Alright, well, Venicus is through this fight. There might be some explosions before it ends, but Venicus is through.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a perished Rosa and a perished Kane, but Palom makes it through, and we get more music.
That was a blink and you miss it heart fight.
Yeah, a little bit less music than we got before, but that's okay. And Curios almost making an error that we've all made.
Almost forgetting.
Defeated the boss and didn't grab the item. Gotta complete the complete Cave Magnus.
And while we do have a number of other runners, we do have a first place winner. Cubs Rule 21 coming in at 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 10 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for Cubs Rule.
Yeah, GG to Cubs. I want to say Cubs has been third all year. Yeah, yep. So no surprise here that Cubs is a very good runner of this, not just this game, but other games as well. Has done some amazing work in a lot of Legend of Zelda communities. So very well done to Cubs.
And here we go. We have two runners heading to Zeromus in different ways. Venicus probably going to stop and pop some more sirens along the way. Curios is outside Troya, has the pass in hand, has a nuke kid, and we'll see what he decides to do to get through this Zeromus fight.
This is going to be a way more comfortable fight for Curios than it is for Venicus if they go at the levels they're at right now. Venicus is in the the low 40s, I want to say, for everyone except for Kane, who's in the mid 40s. This is going to be quite the slog if this is what he goes in with. I have no doubts he can do it, but it is going to be a slog. This is probably an 8 to 10 minute Zeromus fight on Venicus' side. And probably 4 to 5 on Curios.
We're getting some flags here in chat. One of the other things we like to randomize, you just heard the harp song being randomized. We can't randomize where Zeromus is. He's always mostly at the end of our seeds when we have to collect a crystal to beat him. But we can randomize what Zeromus looks like, and that is what we do. We have almost over 600 sprites now, I think, for Zeromus to appear as, and that's what the flags are. We have a question. Possum, do you want to do the honors tonight?
Sure, I would love to. So I think we have a great opportunity to see all of the various sprites and all of the various wonderful things that our art director, Scala Kitty, has put in there. But we have to find out, whose rump are we going to thump tonight?
That's a good one. I like that one.
I'm no Inven. I'm not as creative as all of the legendary ones he's come up with, but we'll go with that one for tonight.
I'm still waiting for Smapey. He owed me 10 after one commentary gig, during ZZ4.
And of course, the obligatory, is it cute? How is the butt? Etc., etc.
But why is the butt? No, everyone wants to ask how, but why? Why is the butt?
Okay, well, that's Genova. So the butt is rude.
Definitely rude. I don't know if you'd classify that one as cute.
No. Nope, definitely wouldn't. We do see Venicus taking some lunar boss fights here. Went to the Ribbon Room, picked up 200,000 XP. Really good for his party. Going to be taking at least another fight or two. Meanwhile, Curios starting to zerk up. A little bit unfortunate there. Palom ate the counter nuke and decided he was going to take a nap, which is not what Curios needs. That's a lot of damage that is not going to be output before a potential second or third Big Bang. So we have Kane, who is going to be running around and zerking. We have Sid, who is also going to be helping with some really nice Artemis arrows, just kind of channeling his inner Rosa here. But pushing even Cursed almost 2,000 damage is not irrelevant. And then we have Palom, who is now getting those nukes off, reflecting from Rosa. So this is what is known as hybrid strats, where you're using some reflected magic and some Zerkers. So really good demonstration from Curios of one of the many ways that you can go through and defeat the final boss.
Yeah, and during this Zero's fight, we do have a second place winner with Mike coming in 1 hour 40 minutes and 7 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for Mike 34. Has also been running really well in the Pink Puff season.
Yeah, Mike not only a wonderful runner of Free Enterprise, but also one of the actual best ancient cave Lufia 2 ancient cave runners on the planet. Extraordinary at that game, and very good at this one as well.
It looks like Kyrios is settling in pretty comfy, whereas Venicus is working through these gold dragons, trying to get that that nuke kid up to nuke. Not having as much difficulty now. Kane is swinging a lot more angrily with that adamant armor on and hitting a decent amount of damage. So we'll see if Venicus gets the XP that he's looking for.
Yeah, also has the ability to weak now, which is going to help out quite a bit.
Yeah, trying to get those extra life glitches off too. We haven't really talked about all, the two glitches. We had the Sylph glitch and the life glitch on. I totally forgot we talked about the back row with Kane and the Dwarf Axe, and the back row glitch isn't even on.
I think it is for the group stage, but not
is it?
for the not for the bracket stage. So it definitely still is on, where you can just equip someone with a Dwarf Axe or a bow and arrow or whatever it would be, and they get the back row flag set. And the game says, okay, you're back road now, even though they're not.
Ooh, Palom taking another counter nuke there, it looks like.
Yeah, Palom being a bit of a nuke magnet, so Palom going to drop again, which is a little awkward, but Kane and Sid have enough HP that they can just carry this out.
Venicus, are you up? Oh, no, he didn't do the White Spear, so he doesn't have the pass. Where's Venicus going?
I am not certain.
Well, meanwhile, though, we have Kyrios, who's got Palom back up. We'll see if we get the nukes flying again. There's the rocks.
Meanwhile, just real quick, we do have a third place finisher also, Gale Swift, coming in at 1:45.09. Gale Swift, a newer runner, and also has created the FF4FE draft site where you can draft flags. It's a phenomenal way to play Free Enterprise. And there is the crumble from Genovimus, and Kyrios coming in 4th place overall. GG's to Kyrios, first on Restream.
GG's, we'll see about getting him in here for an interview. Venicus, meanwhile, did the backtrack through LST one more time. We'll see where he is going.
Looks like he is headed back to Earth, and they think he has a pass.
Maybe it is possible he did do the White Spear and I missed it while we were watching the Kyrios Aromas fight. It was only Water Hag.
Yeah, I know he did the Mylon Z fight. Maybe just realizing now he doesn't have the pass?
Yeah, thinking about it.
We shall see. But we should be joined by Kyrios shortly. And I do believe with that dinging in our ear, we are joined by the Pink Puff Season 2 champion, Kyrios. GG in the race this evening.
Hey, wow, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a seed. How are you feeling after that one?
I was a little sad at what happened with the Wyvern, and of course that Viking was a bit of a mess, but overall I think it went pretty well. I mean, if Keyless Tower is the play, and I don't mind losing it on that. I think I got through everything else pretty well, even though it came in with, an extra king spot, an extra Baron basement, a bunch of extra stuff on the moon, but I was pretty happy with that time for a pretty full clear.
Yeah, it was definitely a very good time overall for the trials and tribulations that this one presented to y'all. The three hiding characters at the end would have been arguably the three most impactful ones.
Hmm.
Uh, Bahamut, you guys had for a long time for Rydia, who didn't show up, a Crystal Sword for Cecil, and also, the Fusoya presence, which, those three just never showed up for y'all, which would have been really helpful.
Yep, yeah, I kept the Sid probably longer than I should have because I expected to replace him with one of those at some point, and just wasn't going to happen. But thankfully, Palom and Kane carried.
That they did, and started them off really well, or with those two. You ended with those two. Overall, really well done, though. As Possum was saying, for the full clear on this flag set of 145, excellently done. Your restream partner Venicus did do the keyless tower play, and so it was really tight there going into the end. You just with all that extra XP that you got. Really pushed you ahead though to from those moon fights. Venicus looks to be looking for something before he goes into his Zerobus fight.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the extra couple sirens there to get to nuke, and Z just didn't want to let Palom stay up for a bit there.
Yeah, it was definitely unfortunate targeting on the back end there. The initial nuke dropping him right away, and then the second nuke as well, dropping him so that he, died to that big bang that came out. Is like, well, there are other targets. You do know that, right, Z? But apparently Z did not. I did want to ask kind of your routing decisions, and both of you bounced off of that Wyvern multiple times. So I think that is probably a recurring theme in this seed, that not just the two of y'all, but likely other folks ran into that issue as well. What drove you to Sealed Cave instead of Keyless Tower or Fae March? Like, what was your rationale for making that approach, or taking that approach? Excuse me.
So for Seal Cave, I mean, it was an objective to complete, so I had to get there eventually. I thought, Wyvern notwithstanding, my party was pretty strong at that point, so I think most bosses there I'm going to be able to beat. And it's not something where it's going to get a lot faster later on. So I think it just kind of fit in really well. And then, of course, once you get the darkness, Keyless Tower becomes even less appealing. So, what can you do?
No, it definitely makes sense. We were talking about it between Karma and I, that we would have done basically the same thing,
Exactly
and
the same.
been on the moon, and also have orphaned Keyless Tower, and been in exactly the same boat as you. So just always like to get that kind of insight into the runner's mind. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, and for the Wyvern spot, honestly, I haven't really had him there in this flag set yet, so I wasn't sure how much the speed adjustments were going to help, and clearly they did not help at all. But thankfully the magic was low enough there that was an easy fix.
Yeah, everything can be overcome with levels.
Yep.
Everything. So you are the champion of the season 2 of Pink Pal. How does that make you feel coming in here and being a new runner, and just essentially being the top runner for this season for the Pink Buff League?
I mean, good for my self-esteem, right? No, it was a great amount of fun to run all of these, and I think as much as anything, running and coming in like 3rd or 4th or 5th every week just gets you those points at the end of the day. But it was a great experience, and I learned a lot, and I'm hoping to put up at least a little bit of a good representation in the tournament to keep the Pink Puff power going after what Rybon and Dave did last time.
I know I don't want to be facing against you in the group stages, that's for sure. But I don't have anything else. Does anybody else in here have any questions for Kyrios?
I do, actually. Hi, Kyrios.
Hey.
So, just your friendly neighborhood restreamer stopping by. So, my random question is, out of all the Z sprites, and hopefully chat can hear me, otherwise I'm failing as a restreamer right now. Out of all the Z sprites that you've got to see in this this club, is there one that you found your favorite?
I think it was one of the ones in the club. I can't remember if it was an async or a live race, but I was pleasantly surprised to see Bernhardt from the Langrisser series. I'm kind of big into tactical RPGs, and that one's a little more obscure, so it was like, hey, I recognize that random weird game, whereas a lot of the more obscure ones go over my head. So that was a kind of fun moment.
What if you ever got the chance to create a Z sprite? What would you do?
Oh goodness, I would probably go kind of down that obscure game route that it seems a lot of the better, more fun ones are, and I would spend a lot of time picking sprites that are probably already in there and I haven't seen them yet.
Well, funny you should mention that. Scala, Kitty, our wonderful creator of so many, almost all of these Z-sprites, has granted a boon to the winner of the Pink Puff League Season 2. So I'm here to congratulate you on earning your very own Z-sprite to get put into the game.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess I'm going to have to start doing my research. Thank you so much, Scala and everyone else.
GG's, it's well earned.
Congratulations.
That's all I wanted to say. So I'm going to go back to restreaming. Bye! GG's!
Well earned GG's from there as well. How are you feeling right about now?
Stunned silence, apparently.
Must be a loss for words, overcome with excitement.
Yeah, sorry, I think I dropped off a little bit there for a second. No, that's really awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Scala. And then, of course, on top of that, thank you to the whole team running this tonight. Karma, Pasu, Asuka, Tybalt, I think, is tracking. All you guys, great opportunity every week to run these races and to get them on stream every other week. It was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for volunteering to be restreamed. I know you were kind of voluntold, but still, we can't do this without you, so.
Yeah, thank you, Kyrios, for the entire season. You've been amazing to watch.
Thank you.
And that was our first place runner here on the restream, Kyrios, winner of Season 2 of the Pink Puff League. We do have Venicus now going up against Genovamus here on our stream. It has the levels, has the gear, has whatever he feels he needs to get this taken care of. So let's get your stuff in chat, get your cheers in. Let's get Venicus through this fight. We did have E-Ninja finish in 5th place with 1 hour 51 minutes 34 seconds. Dubword 47 also finished in 6th place with 1 hour 54 minutes and 9 seconds. And CS Radical just came right in with 7th place with 1 hour 55 minutes and 11 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for those Pink Puffs who are finishing up.
Yeah, GGs to the Pink Puffs indeed. Ninja, I am so proud of Ninja for how far he has come in Pink Puff. When Ninja first started out, he was struggling to make it through seeds, and to see him put up competitive times now, I just want to give Ninja a huge shout out for that. I know how much he has worked at the game. Dubward as well, one of my favorite Pink Puffs, mainly because I'm selfish and he also lives in the same town as I do, and I'm going to be going out drinking with him this weekend, so it's going to be a great time. So I'm going to be able to celebrate his accomplishment here as well. And then CS Radical, someone who I've been able to run into in Supermarket Sweep a lot on the ladder. Also, if y'all haven't run the ladder, make sure you do so. It is a fantastic time to get to play the ladder. But all of those runners, everyone in the Pink Puff League, it's so cool to form these bonds with everyone and to be able to know them all as they just keep improving and getting better. So shout outs to everybody who has done well, including folks in chat who may think they're not any good at this game. I promise you are amazing at it.
Yep, and it looks like Venicus didn't like any or something in that fight, so did do a reset, is right back in there though, so made the proper adjustments that he needed. Like I said, if you are out there, you have been watching us this entire broadcast and you think, hey, maybe I'd like to be a Pink Puff, next time this rolls around, or maybe you'd like to enter the Adamant Cup and you haven't done so yet, please find the Discord. Link is here in the chat for you to come join us, get some information, get some help from a lot of the helpful people. We have a spot where you can just ask any question that your heart desires, and you should be able to get the answer right away. If not right away, at least fairly quickly. We'd love to see new people. We'd love to get new people up to snuff so that we can see you here up on a restream and talking about you.
Yeah, we see. I think the issue with Venicus's fight last time around was there was an unnerfed Big Bang in there, and it caused some problems for the lower HP characters on his team. Sid eating a counter nuke here is perfect. That is exactly who you want to have that counter nuke go to, and being able to get these nuke casts, these white casts coming out. Again, hybrid here also. Kane hitting for 4,000 damage, which is a good number for sure. But should be much more comfortably able to get through this fight this time around.
Yeah, it does look to be, cozy HP, cozy levels. Kane hitting hard. Nukes are going out. Whites are going out. This Genova Mist should not be long for this Waking World. Again, if you haven't done so, please give our runners a follow. Kyrios and Venicus, they have put on an excellent race for us tonight. One last shout out to them. Also, one last shout out to the Restream team, Aska424, who did lead and head up the Pink Puff League, to Bolt 2010 doing the tracking. Possum Morpheus, my co-commentator. As always, fantastic to be working with you. Hope to do so again here shortly. Venicus is doing the work here, getting his Genomas down though.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Karma. I think that we may or may not have an opportunity to work together again, given that there's, let me look at my watch here, about, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go before the tournament? Something like that.
Yeah.
And I would reckon that the two of us are going to sign up for a commentary gig or two throughout the tournament. So I think if y'all enjoyed the commentary tonight, which I hope y'all did, there might be some more of it coming in the future.
Yep, and if you haven't done so, it was posted a little bit earlier. We do have the Adamant Cup starting in March 5th, so there will be a lot of free enterprise going on during, shortly after March 5th. We'll have a lot of races going on, so please stay tuned into that, and hopefully we'll see you out there, watching some of that tournament action. We do have an 8th place with Soapbox Gamer coming in at 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 44 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for Soapbox Gamer.
GG Soap. We have Venicus going through and bouncing whites, bouncing nukes. There was a fake shake in there, a really interesting little feature of Zeromus, where it'll shake, but if you cause an HP refill, it will not actually resolve into a Big Bang. Now we see a real shake, though, and the Big Bang is a-coming. So if this takes out Palom and Rosa, we are just going to have Kane swinging for the fences, trying to get this thing done. So hopefully that doesn't end up what this comes down to, as a lot of damage is being pushed. White reflecting from Rosa here. Palom going to get a menu and try to get a nuke off, but may also die to this Big Bang. We shall see.
Hoping for a low roll for sure. Nope, not going to get the other nuke off. Hopefully the levels will work and get this low roll. Oof. Well, it was for Palom, but he doesn't have anybody to reflect nuke off of now.
Yeah, you can't reflect nuke off a corpse. You can reflect nuke off of, I think, like a jumping cane or something. But here is the Jesus take the wheel moment. Kane dodges the nuke or the Medio, and Palom doesn't. That is odd, but the power of adamant armor. Kane's going to finish this one out, though. 1 or 2 more swings. And there it is. GG's to Venicus, finishing in 9th place. Second on Restream with a time of 2:01:11 in this very rude Adamant Cup seed.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Venicus getting through that tough seed. And we'll be joined by Venicus here in a little bit for an interview.
And with that dinging in our ears, we are joined by Venicus, 2nd place on Restream, 9th place overall, and 2nd place in the Pink Puff Season 2, I believe. So GG's Venicus. And with that dinging in our ears,
yeah, that was a
we are
little,
joined by
that was
Venicus,
something.
2nd
Hi.
place on Restream, 9th place
Hopefully
overall,
it gave you guys a lot of content.
2nd place in the Pink Puff
Oh,
Season
absolutely.
2, I believe. So GG's. Yeah, I think Wyvern gave
GG's,
everyone in this race
yeah,
a
that
lot
was a
of
little,
content they never
that was
wanted.
something. Hi.
After
Hopefully
a
it
couple
gave you guys a
times
lot of
after
content.
that, I'm like, you know what? Let's do
Oh,
other
absolutely.
things. Luckily enough, Top of Tower had Twin Harp, so it just worked out. But a lot of punchy things in punchy spots that Ven no likey.
Speaking of those punchy things, I mean, the obvious one is Baigen. You took a crack or two at that and ended up kind of bailing on it. What was your mindset kind of going into that fight once you saw who it was? Did you have kind of a plan, or was it just kind of zerk and wing it? Where were you at with that?
I was hoping that I could get the blinks off, and the first time it was like just perfect targeting and just messed me up, and I'm just like, okay, I'll give it one more crack, and if it still goes south, I'm just gonna level up to people anyways and figure it out after. I still have an objective to do, so it's like, let's just do Crystal Altar if it goes south, and sure enough, he decides to give me a whooping. So Crystal Altar gave me the Adamant, and then I'm like, okay, Adamant means I can actually do this now. No matter how much I looted, I didn't get anything for like armor wise or anything like that, so everyone was extremely weak regardless of their level. So maybe I should have gone a little bit more hunting into shops and stuff like that beforehand, but it just seemed like no matter where I went, there wasn't too much power in what I had. But luckily enough, like I took the last crack at Eblin and those trap chests and at least got a white spear for Kane, but no matter what I'd looked at, there wasn't too much strength wise. I maybe could have checked the hook route character for if Cecil was there, because we got that crystal sword early on, but yeah, I had to rely on the Quake Kid for a while there just to pull me through a lot of the fights.
Yeah, and it was one of those seeds where it was a double root where it gave you all the nice things. You got a Bahamut summon early, you got a Crystal Sword early, and didn't get any of those characters to use them. And instead, the seed was playing jokes and giving you items after that would have been useful after the boss. So Octomammoth giving the Moon Veil. Wyvern gave a Dragoon Spear. So it was just one of those things where it was, amusing for us here in commentary to notice those little things as the seed progressed.
Speaking of the Moon Veil, I kind of forgot it was in my inventory because we got it along the way early, and then I'm like, oh wait, there's a Moon Veil here. Let me just pop that on Palom the third time I went to buy again, just to make sure that they got some experience there. But it was definitely ruder than the few seeds that I did, but it is Murphy's Law, especially being like this is my first free enterprise restream. So besides the nerves, it was just a little bit of humor, getting punched in the face every now and then.
Well, for your first restream and for your Pink Puff League showing, you did really well, and hats off to you. This flag set with this full clear kind of mindset, 1 hour and a half to 2 hours is definitely where you kind of want to be. So again, really nice job with this flag set and how you went through the seed.
Yeah, thank
you. Great job.
I'm gonna give a crack at the qualifiers and see if I can get punched in the face even more and find out what happens there. But yeah, I thank you guys for your time. I know you guys have a lot of practice to do yourselves, and I look forward to watching what happens with the races and everything like that. And I would say see you guys next Pink Punk League, but since I'm booted to the curb on that one, I will probably see you guys in like ladder races and stuff like that, and see you around on the community races too.
Absolutely. I don't have anything else for Nick. Possum, you got any final thoughts?
I just wanted to congratulate you again on a very consistent and great job on the season. Always a pleasure to get to interact with you, and so proud to see you finish second or top, of the class, if you will. Great job. I know you put in the work, so it shows.
Yeah, and at least I can still deliver humor in a C2. So it's a win all around for everyone, actually. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna go cook myself some dinner, and I will catch you guys later.
Yep, have a good one, and GG's once again.
Yeah,
Thank
GG's.
You. Yeah.
Well, Possum, that was our race.
Yeah, that was indeed our race. But that doesn't mean that we're done with free enterprise.
Not
the
at
pink
all.
puffs. The pink puffs will never go away. There will always be pink puffs. But more importantly, there will always be free enterprise. Where are we going this evening? There's got to be someone.
We are heading over to Couch 23, doing some Adamant Cup practice. We do have our community race tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, so do come out for that. It is another run back of the Black Mage Retribution seed that we ran Monday. So come on out for that. It was a fun race to be had, and if you like your Black Mages, you'll definitely enjoy that flag set for sure. Otherwise, we'll see you over on Couch's stream. One last shout out to our restreamer, Oscar424, and doing the tracking is Tibalt. Pasta Morpheus here in the booth with me, and I'm Bad Karma. And thank you all for coming out, and we'll see everybody over on Couch's stream.
Take care, y'all. Stay healthy, stay blessed, be good to one another.